Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. So for today's video, I'm going to be taking you on a college tour, Durham University, and telling you a little bit about all the different colleges, because obviously this year no one's going to be able to visit them in person before they actually attend. So I'm here as a sort of college fairy godmother to tell you all about them so you can make a well-informed decision. So I'm going to go through all of them. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each one and tell you a little bit about the ethos, the type of person that goes, and what it's renowned for, and hopefully it'll help you, because sometimes I think just reading about them online can be really sort of confusing because they all say very similar things. So I'm going to hopefully give you some sort of insider information that will help you to make a more informed decision. If you are new here, please do remember to give this video a thumbs up if you find it helpful and you enjoy it, and please also do subscribe to my channel as well. That would make me very happy indeed. Without further ado, let's jump straight in. So to kickstart things, I think I'll tell you a little bit about the college that I went to, because obviously that's going to be the one that I know the most about. So I went to St Mary's College, and that is on the hill in Durham. So it's just opposite the library and it's where the science site is, and it's very well placed to basically get to everything quite quickly as well. So if you like a lie-in the morning, maybe a hill college is for you. So Mary's is really nice, and the way it's actually organised now is slightly different, because when I was there, because all the rooms are so different, we actually changed rooms each term. So sometimes you had a really small room, sometimes you had a really big room, and then depending upon what you had, you got a different number, and it meant that you got allocated either a better one the next term, or you had to give someone else the opportunity to have a nice room. But it's not like that anymore. Now everyone gets allocated one and you keep it, and I believe that's probably the same at all the colleges. So Mary's, if you didn't already know, used to be a girls' college, and now it's mixed, so everyone can go, and it's really nice. It's quite an old-fashioned one in the sense that you wear a gown for your formals, and that's really nice. If you love a bit of Harry Potter, you know you're going to love that, wearing the gown, because you know you get to glance around in it and it is well fun. So if you love that, maybe pick an old-fashioned college, which I'll run through as well, the other ones. And with Mary's also, it's split into quite a few different buildings. So there's a building called Ferguson Building, which if you get that one, you're really lucky, because Ferguson Building is actually where breakfast is served, lunch, dinner, so it means you can go in your pyjamas and it's super easy, super convenient, and it's just really nice because it's also a really old-fashioned building, so it has like all the character, and the rooms there are quite big also. There's also one called Williamson, which is just down some steps, and that's probably like a 3-minute walk away from the main building, so you'll have to go outside to get to the main hall. And then there's another one called Techio, where I lived for actually 2 terms, and that's kind of like an internationals hall. Even though I wasn't an international student, there's other rooms in there, and it's a mixture, so you might get allocated that randomly, and that's also really nice, and it's also more modern, so very good. And also I believe that Mary's has also expanded and has more accommodation now than it used to. Also on the hill there are other colleges, so there is Collingwood and Grey College, and they're both renowned for being really sporty colleges, and they're also really big. So if you like a lively atmosphere, you want a more modern experience, you wouldn't have to wear a gown at either of those, I don't think. And also you'll get to meet a lot of different people because they are both so big, so there's going to be a really wide cross section of everyone there. And if you're into your university standard sports as well, they're really good colleges because they're just renowned for having lots of people who are really athletic there. So if that's something you enjoy, you'll really love that college, because they also have a lot of college teams as well for basically all the sports. So if you love a little bit of sport, Grey or Collingwood could be just what you're looking for. Then there's also a college called Trevelyan College, which is on the hill, and that one's really different. And you'll probably hear that people sort of categorise it by saying everything's hexagonal, because the way it's laid out is really unique. It's completely different to any of the other colleges in the sense that the rooms are actually all around a little sort of green area within the building itself. So you'll have a room and then all your neighbours will face into like a tiny little gathering area in the middle. So if you're looking for like more of a community feel where everyone that you live around will probably end up being like your best friend, that's probably like a good one to choose, because it's sort of designed to facilitate people getting together. That's also a really small college, so if you want to really know everyone that you're with within the college itself, that's a really good option for you, because everyone's going to know everyone. It's going to probably make it a lot friendlier than some colleges, in the sense that you will know everyone. So if you ever go to dinner late, for example, you'll definitely have people around you that you can sit with comfortably and have a good conversation with. Whereas if you go to a really big college, it's almost impossible to know everyone properly. So in that sense, it'll be really nice and you'll have a really good community feel. Also on the hill, there is a new college, which I don't actually know very much about because it is brand new and I feel like it's just been built. But there's also one called Josephine Butler, and if you want to be self-catered, that's the one of the only options basically, because St Cuth's Society also has a partially self-catered section. If you want to be 100% self-catered, then you need to go to Josephine Butler, affectionately referred to as Jobo. So that one is a good option for you. It is the furthest away from the city centre, in the sense that it's right up the hill and right near the park and ride. So it does take like a little bit longer to get to lessons, but at the end of the day, it's only about an extra 5-10 minutes. So if you're going to be self-catered and you know that's what you want, that's the college for you. And it has a really good sports hall. I did like a lot of yoga classes in there. So if you know that you like your yoga, they do yoga there a lot of the time. So you wouldn't have to traipse all the way up the hill, you'd already be there. So that's a really good thing about it. And I believe it's got a very friendly vibe to it. It's very atmospheric in the sense that, again, people bond well because they do so much cooking together. So they spend a lot of time every evening, because obviously they'll be going into the kitchen, people will be all there sort of at a similar time. So it'll help you to definitely get to know the people you live with on the corridor, and it'll just help you to make friends that way, because people will like cook together, they'll eat together. Some nights they'll do like corridor meals and everyone will have the same thing and like have a board game evening and movies. That's the kind of thing that happens in Josephine Butler, and I have heard that it's a very friendly college. So as we get further into Durham, there are more colleges of course, and one of them that is on the outskirts of the city centre is called Bede, and it is again a very sporty college. And also, if you enjoy drama, they have their own drama society there as well, so that's a positive. And it's a really like old-fashioned college in the sense that it's in an old building, the accommodation looks very authentic, and it has just a historical vibe to it. It's also quite a large college, so if you're looking to meet lots of different people, that's a great option for you. And obviously it's very easy to get to lessons that are on New Elvert and Old Elvert from there, because it's so close to them. So that's a really positive thing about it. And also, if you then leave where Bede is and go into the city centre, there's a lot of colleges that are in the city centre on a place called the Bailey. So there's lots of colleges there, and if you'd been able to come to Durham for an open day, you'd get to see them all, because a lot of them are basically next door to each other, and that means that the city centre is always like so full of like life and students, and that's where everyone, like a lot of people actually live. So that would have been nice, but I will explain it all to you, because even though they're all very close together, they actually are very different. So I'll start with the first one. So the first one's called Hatfield, and often it gets the reputation in Durham that it's full of people who have been to boarding school and private school, and I would say that is partially true. A lot of people do go to that college if they've been to boarding school or private school, but it's because it looks similar to a boarding school or a private school, because it's very old-fashioned. The accommodation again is set up kind of the same as a boarding school would be, and it just has that vibe, and obviously it's got the reputation of that, so it means people who feel they would fit in there gravitate towards it naturally. So in that sense, yes, it is like that. They also do really good charity fashion shows, as do all the colleges actually. I've been to basically all of them because I used to do one of the dance societies and we got to perform at lots of them, and honestly I can tell you, you will love the charity fashion shows that all the colleges put on. That's just a side note though. And Hatfield's actually had some renovations done recently. So they had their bar redone and they've had it slightly extended and slightly judged up, so that's a positive about that college now. Of course they have their own gym, lots of colleges have their own gym, Mary's has its own gym as well. But if your college doesn't end up having its own gym, it's okay, because you can easily go to either Maiden Castle or there's one in Freeman's Quay as well. So very, very doable to go to a different one. It's not like a big problem because everything's so close in Durham anyway. And then further up the Bailey, away from Hatfield, there is a few different colleges. So there's St Chad's College, which is really, really nice. I feel as though that one's again a very friendly one and people do know each other quite well, because I believe it may even be the smallest college where they only have about 150 or 200 new people a year who go. So you'll definitely know everyone if you go to Chad's, and their bar is really, really nice. And they have kind of an indoor courtyard for where their bar is as well. So it has a really sort of cozy feel to it. So if you love that kind of feel, that kind of aesthetic, Chad's could be for you, because it is very nice and it'll definitely feel like a home away from home. So just up from St Chad's there's St Cuth's and St John's, and St Cuth's is the one that I was saying is partially self-catered. So their accommodation is actually split into completely different locations. So there's some in a place called Green Lane, which is very far away from the Bailey, and then there's some which is directly on the Bailey. And if you're going to have any catered meals, they're all on the Bailey itself, so you'd have to walk from your other accommodation across to there to get the meals and stuff. And then I would say they have quite a liveliness to their college. They have quite a big bar. They have a nice beer garden behind the bar as well, or just like a pub garden that you can like have drinks and stuff in the summer. Hopefully that'll be able to happen again soon. And accommodation wise, it is kind of spread out, but some of them are more modern buildings like the ones that are on Green Lane, and some of them are kind of more old fashioned as well. But I feel as though all the accommodation is equally good, but it's just different. So they're all equal but just look different, if you know what I mean. So that's a bit about St Cuth's, and you know, again, I heard loads of good things about that. Apparently it's really friendly, they're really close to city centre, so when nights out and stuff can resume, it's really convenient for that, because you don't have to traipse all the way from the hill. You can just go straight into town and you're there in like 5 minutes, which is super convenient. And again with St John's, that college is like supposed to have more of a religious vibe to it. So if you're religious, that's a perfect choice for you, because it's got a really nice sort of homely community vibe to it. And it's definitely one where everyone knows everyone, and again, a relatively small college. And of course, if you really like the authentic accommodation, it has really nice authentic accommodation in there. It's all old-fashioned and got that really nice historical Harry Potter-y vibe to it, so a good choice for you if you're either religious or you just like nice accommodation that has a real authentic vibe to it. I feel as though so many people will have been waiting for this one, Castle College. Now, oh my goodness, it is true, it is amazing, it is very Harry Potter, and you can live in the castle, which is amazing. I actually went to have a look at the castle's accommodation within the actual castle, and the only thing I would say is you have to share a room if you're going to live in there. You can't have a whole castle room to yourself, but if you like it and you have a roommate and it's all cool, you know what, you'll have an amazing time, because the accommodation is amazing in there. It is exactly like Harry Potter. You can see across the internal castle grounds. It is so amazing, and unlike anything you get to experience otherwise, probably the best accommodation in Durham, in the sense that it is the most magical, and you get fantastic views across the city as well from certain angles, certain rooms, so that's amazing. And if you aren't in the castle itself, there's accommodation which is just further down on the Bailey itself, which you'll be in, and I think it's called Moatside, so still castle related, and that's more modern, but it's kind of more like standard accommodation. It's not fancy like the one within the castle itself, but nonetheless, I would always say it's not the room you get, it's like the people you live around that's going to make the whole accommodation experience good anyway. So that's the thing that matters, that you get along with the people that you're living around, not that you've got a really fancy room. And obviously castle itself is amazing. They have a lovely undercroft bar, and it's so nice. They have like pool and stuff in there, so you can spend like a whole evening in there. You won't get bored. You don't have to go to like loads of other pubs and bars and trips around. You can just completely stay in there and have like a really nice vibey evening, because it's got all sort of exposed brickwork and stuff, and you really do feel like you're having a drink in a castle. It's really nice. So I'd highly recommend at least going there, even if you're not actually at Castle College, because it's definitely one of the nicest bars within Durham itself. And Castle also hosts June Bowl, which is, I think it's actually on the Barclays top 50 or top 100 events to go to in the UK. So it's highly esteemed, and they have loads of good ends, and it's every June, of course. And It's just a really good event, so basically one to definitely look out for and try to get an invite to, because if you don't go to Castle, I think you have to either be invited because you're Ents or have a friend that can help get you in. So definitely one to try and get into. And last but by no means least, I am taking us back up the hill. We're going back up the hill and we're going to Van Mildert in my little virtual tour, and that's actually next to St Mary's, and its statement feature is this really nice lake that it has. So all the accommodation is basically around this huge lake, and that's kind of the thing of the college. And it's a really big college. They do good balls in there, and again there'll be like lots of people you can get to know there because it is one of the larger colleges. It's kind of like a college that does everything. So there's sporty people there, there's people who are into their drama and arts, they do good events there. So basically, again, somewhere that you would definitely find something you would love about it. And it's a modern college also, so if you want more of a modern experience whilst being at Durham, that's a good option because you'll get to meet lots of people. It's modern, the accommodation's modern, the rooms are spacious, so it's a win-win. Durham actually used to have some colleges in Stockton because Durham used to do medicine, and they don't do that anymore. So now those colleges are why there's new ones within the main city section of Durham itself. So just a little word to the wise, because I know that not everyone would know that Durham had actually split its campus before, but yeah, it used to be split between Durham itself and Stockton, but now everyone is in Durham, and medicine isn't actually a degree at Durham anymore. It's done by Newcastle University instead, but that was why it used to be split, and I feel as though it helps everyone to feel more like part of the actual university. So I hope that this video was helpful. I hope I gave you a little bit of information about each of the colleges and helped to shine a little bit of light on it, because I know it can be so confusing when you're trying to pick one. I remember the day that I went to have a look around lots of them, it was impossible to go to all of them because you had to book in, and sometimes the tours were full, and it was just such a overload of information and seeing all the different accommodation that it made it so difficult to choose. So if anyone has any really specific questions that I haven't already covered, or you want to know really niche details about any of the colleges, just leave it down below in the comment section and I'll get back to you and let you know anything and everything that I can remember about the colleges and that I already know from experience, because there are of course so many details that I could get into, but again, you know, there's so many that it's hard to fit it all into one video. So just ask me and I shall tell you. If you did enjoy this video, please do remember to give it a thumbs up, and please do also subscribe to my channel as well. That would make me very happy indeed. And of course, if you have any suggestions for other videos, Durham related or otherwise, please also leave me a comment, as I'd love to hear those. Thank you so much for watching. I love every single one of you so much, and I'll see you again very soon in a brand new video. Bye!